right, welcome back. Colin McAllister and Derek Keller. They make up the McAllister Keller Duo. They'll be performing live at the Mezzanine, 20 North Tejon in downtown Colorado Springs on July 30th at 6:30 p.m. The performance of songs old and new for classical guitars and voice. And Colin and Derek, it's always a pleasure to have you here at Kcme. Thanks for coming by.
It's nice to be back.
And for
Always
playing as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thanks.
Of course.
So the music you're going to perform with songs old and new is truly old and new, going back to, Renaissance times with John Dowland and going all the way, Arnold Schoenberg and Steve Reich. So you pretty much run the gamut of time. So what made you pick out these pieces of music that you're performing? What were the criteria, essentially? What were we trying to
Well, we
cover?
have been playing together as a guitar duo for over 15 years now. And Derek has always been singing for that long, too, in different groups and configurations. And we really wanted to try to bring those two together and have him sing in the duo. So we picked out pieces that we would enjoy doing that. And then we continue to play some of our guitar duo repertoire that we've been doing for some of it for a long time and some fairly new things. And then Derek also has done some arranging of pieces for the duo as well.
Okay. Well, that was the next question I was going to ask you. How long you've been together for? 15 years now?
We
Over that, yeah, we 98.
Yeah, we
98?
came in together as graduate students at UCSD in 1998. Him in performance and myself in composition.
What brought you together?
Well, we were the only two guitarists
That was
and, at the time.
Yeah, we didn't have anybody else to pick from.
And so we would, and we said, hey, you're a guitarist, I'm a guitarist, let's be friends. And so we became friends.
Okay.
And so we had a lot of similar interests. And then, being in a place like UCSD, which is like a pressure cooker of very intense musicians and music, music written just yesterday, you're hard pressed to hear anything composed before 1945.
Okay.
And so we started making friends and colleagues, and we heard about this piece called Salut für Caldwell by Helmut Lachermann, which is, he's still very notable and very much alive, important composer from Germany. And one of our friends, Rick Burkhart, passed us the title along and said, you got to play this piece. And so we did what was the U.S. premiere?
Yeah, it'd never been played in the
we'd never
US.
played in the U.S. and we
Okay.
did the first U.S. premiere of Salut für Caldwell by Helmut Lachermann. And that was part of our musical partnership. And then we started playing more and more gnarly music together.
Now, I know, Colin, you're a proponent of modern music.
Absolutely.
And how about you, Derek?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
you're
what brought
both-
us together.
Okay,
So,
and some of the things you perform during this Songs Old and New is definitely modern music, pushing the envelope. And then you go back to the John Dowland and Robert Johnson, and Derek, we get to hear your voice and beautiful guitar music, and what more could you ask for?
My frowns do cause me pine, and feeds me with delay. Her smiles, my springs that make my joys to flow. Her frowns, the winters are my woe. All the night my sleeps are full of dreams, my eyes are full of streams, my heart takes no delight to see the fruits and joys that some do find.
We figured out that playing a broader mix of music other than 20th century music might bring in a few more people to come hear us play. Would you care to comment on that?
Well, I think that we enjoy a wide variety of music, too. We're not only engaged with contemporary music,
Right.
and so I like to play music from all periods. I'm very invested, especially in Renaissance music and medieval music. And we're bringing some of those together. Actually, the newest piece on the program, it's going to be the premiere of a new piece by a fellow named Christopher Adler. It's for two guitars, and I'm reciting portions of the 6th book of Virgil's Aeneid in Latin. It's sort of an oratorio where I'm reciting this Latin, and then we're
Both playing.
Both playing.
Right.
Ha.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing that happens stylistically or aesthetically speaking, because it starts out, I wouldn't say minimalistic, but there's some repeated licks that are developed that in the first section, so it sounds very 20th century, and then the next section. I mean, I'm talking specifically from a musical point of view. Actually, I can't speak to it entirely because I haven't heard the other guitar part yet.
Well, so part of it, the interesting thing about how Chris Adler brings this together is that in one section of the piece, Aeneas, the protagonist of the Aeneid, right? He goes down to the underworld in Book 6, and one of the shades that he encounters is Dido, this woman that he has spurned, and she committed suicide because he left her. And so he encounters her shade there, and while he's speaking with her, we hear, actually Derek will play an arrangement of a Renaissance setting of what's called the Dulces Exuviae, and this is the speech that Dido makes before she kills herself.
Yeah.
And that was a very popular text to set in the Renaissance. So while I'm playing things and speaking to Dido, Derek will be playing the Dulces Exuviae. It's really quite an
It's really cool. It's kind of the gem of the program now, because it's the one piece that glues the rest of the rest of our music together. From very my words are failing me, from minimalistic music by Reich, Schoenberg atonality, to Renaissance music of Dowland and Carlo Gesualdo, and now we have this piece that marries these two styles together. It was kind of a great piece that Colin actually has been developing with Chris for 8 years
This
now.
is a 3-act piece. When it's finished, it'll be about an hour long. We've already done the first act before. This will be the first performance of the second act.
It sounds challenging, very challenging.
It's a bear.
Well, for me, it's challenging, especially because I'm reciting
and playing.
I have to recite this Latin text in a dramatic way and play, and I get to use a lead pipe on the guitar at one point.
There's points where the guitars don't sound like guitars anymore.
I mean, he's in the underworld, so
Right.
it's got to be smoky down there.
Different acoustics in the underworld. Huh?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Let's mention your websites. Colin, your website, colinmcallister.com, has got information about you and your performances, and Derek Keller, derekkeller.com.
Tons of content.
Now, information on the performance on July 30th at the Mezzanine, the mezcos.com. Now, Latin, what is that Latin phrase you have on the front page of your website?
Oh, yeah.
Nil satis nisi optimum.
Is that okay?
It means nothing suffices but the best.
Nothing suffices but the best.
Right. There shall be no wine before it's time.
Nothing but the best is good enough.
No, I'm teasing.
All right,
teasing.
Orson.
Right.
Well, Derek, you just flew in from Sacramento.
Yep.
Is that your home base?
Home base. Yep. I've been
Okay.
there since 2006.
What do you do in Sacramento?
I'm an adjunct professor of music at a couple of different schools. One 4-year college, William Jessup University out in Rockland, community college down in Elk Grove, Cosumnes River College. We're starting back up in 4 weeks.
Mostly he just practices.
Yeah, I've been
guitar.
practicing. I've been shedding a lot. But yeah, I sing there as well. I'm putting together a power trio of all things.
Okay.
So my returning to some of my rock roots. So
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do rock as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
After you go to the website,
Okay, I
you'll
gotta
see
know.
the unfinished forthcoming record.
rock inspirations?
Oh, Jimmy Page.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just
Frank
listening
Zappa.
To Yardbirds and Cream today.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So,
Excellent. Well, Colin, you're here in the Springs and you're at UCCS. Give me a few things that you do. There's a long list. I forget. I get lost.
Well, I teach courses in music and the humanities, obviously guitar, but I also teach music history, a music business and entrepreneurship class. I teach in a class on apocalypse, the notion of apocalypse through the humanities program, and I organize an annual conference called Through a Glass Darkly, UCCS Symposium on Apocalyptic. And I just wrote a paper on some late medieval receptions of the apocalypse in a particular document that I'm translating. So I'm all over the place too.
That's awesome.
So you're also studying history. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
working on a history master's, I think.
I am working on a history master's and working on some translation projects. And medieval apocalyptic is my area, Latin apocalyptic commentaries.
We're a bit of an eclectic pair.
Well, yes. Derek, I want to ask you about something you performed this afternoon, the Gesualdo piece, and tell me about that. You were talking about the arrangement. It's quite unique.
Well,
what you're going to perform.
When we started doing when Colin and I realized we should combine voice and guitar, and Dallin, of course, is a great choice and made enormously popular again by Sting, if you recall, a few years ago. And so we decided to do that, and then I got inspired to look at some other composers, and Carlo Gesualdo is one of those, I call it kind of a mannerist composer. Not too many other people were doing what he was doing. We don't really hear the degree of harmonic complexity or dissonance until Wagner. Anyway, the inspiration was to try to find a piece, again, as I was saying earlier, to bridge the contemporary, more contemporary music with the older music. And Gesualdo does that because he's from the Renaissance, but the music in some places sounds, with the shifts in tonality, are quite striking.
Ahead of his time, definitely. Ahead of his time.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. And so I found this piece, and I was trying to find one that I thought would fit the instruments and something that we could manage, because he writes some pretty intense counterpoint. And so I wanted to do some of this. I wanted to sing some of the parts and play the rest. And the idea came from the fact that during the late Renaissance, it was not uncommon to have a madrigal be performed by one singer and then the other parts being played by the other instruments. Stylistically, instrumental music and vocal music were still fairly similar. So the ways of composition were not too far apart. So I thought, let's do what is called a concerted style setting of one of the madrigals by Gesualdo. And so I sing a couple of parts back and forth, and then we manage the other four parts between us over the course of a 3-minute madrigal.
Quella rente chiama, quella rente chiama, che si dolce, che si dolce m'infiamma.
One more piece I'd like to ask you about, the spoken word, the church car. Colin,
So
you're the
this
church
is-
car man?
Yeah, well, this is something that, again, my friend, the composer Chris Adler, heard, and he transcribed it in a rhythmic fashion so that when we read the text, it's like we're reading musical rhythms. And it's this interesting kind of sound piece. The words don't make any sense necessarily in order. The title is Church Car, and those are the two most commonly used words.
Yeah.
And we hawk it a lot. So
Which
it's-
is?
Hocketing is where you pass things back and forth. It's like early stereo music, spatial music. It was used very frequently in the medieval period, and so that's a fun kind of piece. And I think we like to do it because in a concert of all guitar music, sometimes it's nice to not hear the guitar for just a little bit.
Church car, 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 church 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 car, car, church car, 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 church car, church car, church car, church car, church 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 car, car, church car, 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 church car, church car, church car, church car, church 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 car, car, church car, car, bang, church car, bang, church car, bang, 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 church car, bang, 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 church car, bang, 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 church car, bang, church car, bang, church.
Colin, you performed at the Mezzanine, and Derek, this is your first time. Colin, could you talk about the Mezzanine as a venue and pluses,
I think it's a
minuses?
great venue. It's set up. Many people who've been down there know this, but for those who haven't, it's in the back of the Mansion nightclub on Tejon. So you enter through the alley, you come upstairs, and it's essentially kind of a cabaret setting. There are tables, there's a stage, nice lighting, there's a bar in the back. So it's a really different kind of place to listen to classical music, and it's organized by the Colorado Springs Conservatory, Linda Weiss, and they've just been doing a great job of putting concerts in there. It's a very exciting new venue to have downtown. I look forward to playing there again.
Can't
and
wait.
Showing it
It's
to
gonna be
Derek.
great.
Yeah.
And there's
Great
drinks, too.
And there's drinks
After the concert.
After the concert.
for us,
For
but
us.
the other folks can start
Right.
sooner.
Right.
The event coming up at the Mezzanine, 20 North Tejon in downtown Colorado Springs, the McAllister Keller Duo, Colin McAllister and Derek Keller. The performance of songs old and new for classical guitars and voice. You can get more information at themezzcos.com. You can get information on the individual performers. Derek Keller is derekkeller.com, and Colin McAllister, colinmcallister.com. And both of you, thank you so much for coming out, playing, and talking to me today.
It was our pleasure.
Thanks for having us, Keith.
Thank you.